Hey, day 2, rewriting equations and formulas. In your book, there's in your student journal, there's some information on the core concepts there. I believe that's on page 24 of your student journal. But it talks about some of the different formulas. We referenced them yesterday. The temperature formula, the interest formula, simple interest formula, and distance formula. Okay, so temperature, if you know Celsius, you could find Fahrenheit, or if you know Fahrenheit, you could find Celsius. Same thing with interest. If you know your percent, your rate, and your time, you could find your simple interest. Okay, and in terms of distance, if you know your rate and time, you could find your distance. Or if you know one of these variables, on any of these, you can find, or excuse me, if you know all but one of the variables, then you could find the others. Okay, so our goal today is to be able to manipulate those formulas so that we can find different parts. So rather than wanting to find interest, maybe I want to find principal, so we'd get P by itself. Or rather than wanting to find the distance, maybe we want to find T. So getting T by itself. Okay, that will be our goal. So, number 9, this is monitoring progress. This is out of your textbook. You don't have to write down the whole problem, but we're going to work through it. A fever is generally considered to be body temperature greater than 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Your friend has a temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. Does your friend have a fever? Okay. Well, first you would need to know. What's up, man? You just answer? What do you think? No? Okay. You haven't converted right away.
Well, I don't know Fahrenheit very well, but I know Celsius and 37 is where you're supposed to be.
Cool. Okay, but for those of us who don't know that, let's see if it's right. Good job, Jonathan. Okay, so if you don't know that, hey, we have our formula, Celsius equals 5/9, Fahrenheit minus 32. Okay, really what we need to know, if your friend has a temperature of 37 degrees Fahrenheit and you know a fever is greater than 100, or 37 degrees Celsius, but a fever is greater than 100 degrees Fahrenheit, it'd be nice if this equation was in terms of F. Okay? Now some of you would just go, well, I'm just going to put the 37 in right here and solve. Solve for F, which is another route you could go. Okay, but being able to maybe get F by itself first without having to have putting a number in might be helpful as well. So the first thing we do is want to get rid of this fraction. Okay? Now we've talked about getting rid of a fraction a few different ways. I'm going to try to go about this by getting F by itself. If I have a fraction there, I'm going to rewrite this problem like this. I think this for some students makes a little more sense. This divided by 9, since I'm multiplying, could actually be on the bottom. Hey. Yeah, it's in the bottom tray right there. Okay.
Couldn't you also multiply it by 9 over?
You could. And so you could write it like that, or you could go about this by saying, I'm just going... Why does it say what? This is the formula, right? So I'm using this formula right here. Yeah. Okay, so you could write it like that, or you could get rid of this by multiplying by the reciprocal. You can go through and say the reciprocal of that is, tell your neighbor what the reciprocal of that is. So vocabulary-wise, what does reciprocal mean? All right, so not too many people know, so let's go through it. You flip the fraction. So if I flip that over and multiply by 9/5, so I take my 5/9 right there and I multiply it by 9/5, what's that give me? It gives you 1. Anytime you multiply something by its reciprocal, it gives you 1. But whatever I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other. So it's nice, I get rid of that, and I'm left with just now the F minus 32. Okay, but I have to do that over here as well. So now I have 9/5 of C equals F minus 32. We'll leave it. Yeah, we won't change it to a mixed number. We're going to leave it as improper. Okay, we usually use improper fractions in algebra. They're easier to deal with on that. So here we're going to add 32 to both sides. Gives me 9/5 C plus 32 equals F. There we've got it. Sure. Yeah. John. Okay. So now we can see if Jonathan was right. We're going to find out right now, Jonathan. We'll let you know when you come back. Okay. We're going to put 37 degrees in for Celsius. Everyone plug that in and calculate it out. See if he has a temperature. No, he would have to show his work. All right, what do we get? Mercedes, what do you get? 98.6. Anyone else get that? Okay, 98.6. Does it have temperature? Nope. So 9/5 times. So when you're multiplying here, it's 9 times 37 divided by 5 plus 32. Or 9/5 times 37 plus 32. Yeah. What's that?
98.6 is average.
Good. Right, so the question was, does your friend have a fever? If it's over 100, then you do. It's not.
What if it is 100?
Then if it's 100, then you don't. It has to be greater than 100. You're not quite finished? Just set it on the computer table. Okay, questions? All right, going on. Try this one. Number 10-0. Okay, how much money must you deposit in a simple interest account to earn $500 interest in 5 years at a 4% annual interest rate? Yeah, so you're using this formula down here, your simple interest formula. So look back in your journal. Simple interest. Yeah, there's a pretty complex interest formula. You're using simple. No, not right now. Yes. Same formula on page 24. Thank you, Quinn.
I figured that out after recap. I tried to write it down.
Okay, hey, if you're struggling a bit, hey, it's not an easy concept always, but you have to know which of these three formulas we're using, the ones we're studying today, and this is the interest one, right? So if I'm going I equals PRT, how many have heard that formula before? Before today? Okay, well, okay, before yesterday. Okay, well, let's make sure we understand what we're dealing with. I is interest. It's how much money you're earning on an investment. So like if you put money in the bank, you earn interest. This happens to be simple interest, a bit different than your bank interest. Okay? P is your principal. It's not like Mr. Snow. It's the amount of money you put in the bank. So like if you deposit $200 in the bank, that is your principal amount. And then from there you gain interest. We call this principal the amount you deposit. Or the amount you start with. So in your notes, where you have this formula, you should define some of these things in the words that are going to make sense to you. So if you're looking at this, you're like, I don't get that, but really what makes sense is me saying it this way, then you need to write it that way. Okay, the amount you start with in the bank, the amount you deposit at the beginning, okay, that is your principal. Your interest is how much you get off that principal. So it's like your buddy saying, hey, can I borrow a buck for a pop? And you're like, sure, if you pay me 50 cents extra tomorrow. You just charge them interest. You charge them a lot of interest, by the way, on a buck. Okay? Ooh. All right? Your rate. Please note, your rate is in decimal form. Okay? So this is 4%. Percent means what? Yeah. Yeah, percent means per 100. Hey guys, talking back there. Pay attention. 4% means per 100. That means I have 4 per 100. That means I have a fraction. 4 over 100. 4 over 100 is what decimal? 0.04. Okay? So that is my rate in this problem. And then my time, notice your time is given in years. In this case, pretty easy. It tells you 5 years. So if I'm defining all these pieces, if I want to think, okay, what is I, what is P, what is R, and what is T? Okay, which one of those do they give you? Tell your neighbor, define each part right now. Which one of those do we have? Okay, which one do they not give you? They do not give you the interest. That's what we're looking for. Okay? We're looking for I. We're trying to find I here. What is principal? You sure it's 500? Oh, maybe we're wrong up here. Yeah, they actually do give us the 500. The 500 is our interest. It says 500 in interest, man. They do give you that.
You scared me.
I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm trying to get you guys to think, though. That's 500.
I already did the problem. I was like, what did I do?
What is my principal? How much do I start with?
You don't.
We don't know. We'll call it what? P. What's my rate? 0.04. What's my time? 5. So if I want this formula, the benefit of being able to solve you could plug in each piece again, or if we were looking for P, if we solve this equation without numbers in it first for P, it may make it a little easier. So if I want to get P by itself, what do I do? Divide by? And we divide by both R and T. Okay, so really our principal is equal to our interest over the rate times time. Okay, so let me write that a little bigger so we can actually all see it. Okay, our principal is going to be equal to the interest over the rate times the time. All right? With that, let's go ahead and find the principal. Neighbor, what you got?
First you can't get it out, now you can't get it.
Okay, notice I just keep putting an equal sign here. I'm just carrying the P down. You can do that. So in this case, 5 times 4/10, 500 divided by 5 times 4/10 is 2,500. How many got it? Yeah, Mano. Sebastian, what'd you get? Okay, so here's the deal. You guys, for those of you just cranking it into a calculator, let me show you the mistake that gets made. And I've seen this on different exams that students have to take, but here's the mistake that gets made. They go, okay, look, 500, yep, divided by 0.04, okay, times 5. Now, how many put that in? Because you get that. Now, what's wrong with that for those of you who kept saying wrong? Logan?
Oh, just
Yeah, you could do it 2 different ways. Okay, you could do like that, and then what? Then you have to divide by 5 again. Okay, what's the other way of writing that? 500. Yeah.
0.04 times 5 gives me 0.2, and then I divided 500 by 0.2.
Okay, so another way, 0.04 times 5. And then you found that that's 0.2, and you did 500 divided by 0.2. Did anyone do that? Okay, how do we plug this in? Like this whole thing. There's got to be a way. I mean, this is a pretty smart calculator. It's not a smartphone, but I'm sure it's a smart calculator. Hey, put parentheses on the bottom. 500 divided by parentheses, the whole thing, like we talked about when we were correcting today. The quantity of, times 5. You got to put anytime you have a denominator, you have to put the whole thing in parentheses if you're doing multiple things. No. Okay. All right, guys. We're in our last one, number 11. Truck driver averages 60 miles an hour while delivering freight. Stuff, in other words. It's stuff. And 45 miles per hour on the return trip. The total driving time is 7 hours. How long does it take for the trip? So if we're looking at all of our formulas, which one is that? This one. D equals RT. D equals RT. Now, what you need to figure out is what things you have and what things you need to find. So defining your variables over here. What do we have? What do we need to find? Talk with your groupies. Okay, guys, let's see how far you made it on this. Okay. Anyone know the distance? No? Are we trying to solve? It says 60 miles per hour. Hey, anytime you have a per hour, like miles per hour, that's a rate. Okay? What's your time?
7 hours.
Good. So we know the total driving time is 7 hours. That's good. How long does each trip take? So that means there's 2 trips, right? Okay? Yeah.
So, 60 miles per hour one took 3 hours, and the 45 miles per hour one took 4 hours.
Cool. Let's see if you're right. You're always right.
Except when I'm wrong.
Okay, how many of you have been on the Big Ideas website? At home. Okay, guys, this is a monitoring progress. And what I'm going to do is I want to remind you that when you guys are struggling, you can always go back to the Big Ideas website. Like if you're at home and you don't know how to do something, you go back and watch these. Even this problem, like any of the monitoring progress, you can look on the website and actually watch and work it out. So if you go home and you're like, I really struggled with today's stuff, the stuff we're doing, these are on the website. So while you guys are continuing to work on your assignment, the 1 through 6, if you finish 1 through 6, just keep working. You can always check your work up there. Okay? While you're working on that assignment, I'm going to pull that up online here real quick. Okay? I can show you this problem is quite difficult. So those of you freaking out about it, you're like, man, this is really tough. This one is really tough. Okay? That's okay. We'll see it here in a minute. Okay, so remember when you get to the website, if you click here, and then move on to, let's see, your resources. I need to get to our algebra class. Go to Student Dynamic book. Get to my algebra. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
Is this recording right now?
Why that's so weird?
Is it still recording? Does it record everything you say all three?
No, it doesn't do that at L3, but it is recording right now. What section we in?
Did you hear that?
Knock it off. What section we in? 1.5.
Yeah,
We're in 1.5.
Okay. What problem we on?
we are on problem 1.
Nope. We're on monitoring progress 11. So if I go and skip down until, keep looking at these, there's my examples. There's a monitoring progress number 9. Scroll here are my examples. Down here at monitoring progress number 11. There's our problem. You click that button right there. Remember, it brings you to these videos. Okay? And you can actually watch the video there. It shows you how to solve the problem. We're not going to watch it in Spanish. Sorry. Well, some of you would really like to.
45 miles per hour on the return.
Not terribly exciting, I promise. I promise you that. You probably won't watch it with your friends.
Use the distance formula D equals RT, where D is distance, R is rate, and T is time. Solve the distance formula for time T. Divide each side of the equation by R. D divided by R equals RT divided by R, which simplifies to D divided by R equals T. Because the truck driver averages 60 miles per hour while delivering freight, substitute 60 for R to obtain the equation D divided by 60 equals T. Because the truck driver averages
Two different situations. You have a delivery and a return trip.
Substitute 45 for R to obtain the equation D divided by 45 equals T. The total driving time, 7 hours, is equal to the delivery time plus the return time. So 7 equals D divided by 60 plus D divided by 45. Add the right side of the equation using the least common denominator.
Okay, let me pause for a minute. That is really annoying, that little. Ooh, that's even more annoying. Let's put that back there. Hold on, let me turn that part off. Okay. Hey, so, you guys, how many of you understood this part right here? D equals RT, get T by itself. They're asking for the time. Okay, we know they're asking how long each trip takes. Well, there's two trips. There's a delivery and a return. We know that the delivery has a rate of 60 miles an hour, and the distance we're not sure of. Okay, and the return trip has a rate of 45, but the distance we're not sure of. But we know when we put the two together, you get your total of trip of 7 hours. Our goal is to figure out if Jason's right. Jason's saying one way is 3 hours, the other way is 4 hours, right? Is that what you said? Okay, well, let's see. Okay, we're going to solve there for our distance now.
Multiply D divided by 45.
You have to find a common denominator.
7 equals D divided by 60 times 3 divided by 3 plus D divided by 45 times 4 divided by 4, which simplifies to 7 equals 3D divided by 180 plus 4D divided by 180.
Add the fractions. What do we get?
7D divided by 180.
All right, they told you so fast. He works
Multiply each
fast.
side of the equation by 180. 180 times 7 equals 7D divided by 180 times 180, which simplifies to 1,260 equals 7D. Divide each side of the equation by 7 to isolate D. 1,260 divided by 7 equals 7D divided by 7. Because 7D divided by 7 equals D. D equals 180.
Okay, now let me pause. D is 180. How does that help us? Well, if our distance is 180, how can we find our delivery time and our return time? Well, let's go back over here. We know D equals 180. How do we find our delivery time? Divide 180 by 60. We plug in 180 for D in both of those, and we find out.
Substitute 180 for D in the equation D divided by 60 equals T to determine how long the delivery takes. 180 divided by 60 equals T, which simplifies to 3 equals T. Substitute 180
Jason got it right?
in the equation D divided by 45 equals T to determine how long
I love
the
it to
return
be like
trip
T.
Did you guess?
180 divided
Yeah, you
by
were.
45 equals T. Simplifies to 4 equals T. So the delivery takes 3 hours and the return trip takes 4 hours.
All right. Hey, guys, remember, you have that option to go online. Okay? So if there's something you don't understand we're doing during class, you can always go back and rewatch that stuff or study it at home.
Can we watch
Okay.
it in Spanish, please?
No. All right.